wanted to pop in and share this message that has been burning in my spirit, and it is on integrity. It's on doing what's right, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient, even when things happen unexpectedly. Still maintain that integrity. Plans change, and the truth is, most people don't set out, not everyone, but some do not set out to let others down. Many don't mean to break their word or disappoint someone that they gave a commitment to. But when circumstances shift and you can no longer fulfill what you said, a time, an announcement, anything, all right, this is when integrity steps in. And for some, the issue isn't irresponsibility, meaning they don't just be silent or not say anything because they just don't care. Maybe it's the fear of confrontation. Maybe they have anxiety over disappointing someone. And so instead of communicating openly, they shut down. They avoid conversations, and they think silence will somehow fix what honesty could have cleared up. But the longer you remain silent, the more damage you create, not because the commitment couldn't be kept, but because of how it was handled when it couldn't. And so there are others who operate from a place of pride or presumption. They say to themselves, I'll get around to it eventually. I'll get there when I get there. Or it's not that serious. They'll be fine. If they want this product, if they want this money, if they want, this connection, if they want my gift, if they want me to show up, then they'll be okay. This mindset is not a kingdom mindset. This is very dysfunctional. And integrity means you don't leave people hanging. It means you communicate even when the update isn't ideal. And so the issue isn't always that something couldn't be done. It's that the other person wasn't respected enough to be informed. You don't lose people because of failure. You often lose people because of silence, inconsistency, or a lack of accountability. Many people will still be for you. They'll still get your product. They'll still want to connect, collab, all those things, and support you if you take a moment to acknowledge what's going on. All right. But when someone is left waiting, watching, and wondering, they begin to feel disrespected, and that's when trust is lost. I've seen it in business, I've seen it in ministry, I've seen it in relationships, and I also have a personal example. My example, this happened about 3 years ago. There was a particular business that I constantly supported. I was a loyal customer, but over time I began receiving products that looked rushed, were incomplete, and then the packaging started getting sloppy. But, I gave grace, understanding that things happen. But when it became a pattern, I finally spoke up. I sent a nice email, and I sent a picture, and the response was just like, okay, that's what happens when business increases and you get more customers or whatever, as if it's like it is what it is. No apology, no accountability or anything. And that's when I realized that you don't want my business. You lost me as a customer. And so again, like I said, I give grace, but when you're totally disregarding and you don't care, that lets me know that you do not respect or care for my business. And for me, respect is everything. I care deeply about good communication, consistency, and character. Some people love the aesthetics, but for me, you don't have to have the most polished brand or the biggest following to gain my loyalty. All right? You don't have to be the most popular. For me, it's the customer service and making sure, of course, the product itself is, in the condition that you're presenting it in. But customers want to feel seen, valued, and respected. It's not just in business relationships, it's in other relationships, friendships, marriage, all of those things. All right. You have to have integrity. You can't get familiar with your friends. You can't get familiar with your spouse and say one thing and do a different thing. But now let's bring this back to the word. Proverbs 11:3 says, the integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. Okay, integrity is not an option for the believer. It's a standard. It is what guides us in the moments when no one else is watching. God values integrity because it reflects his very nature. He is faithful to his word. He does not change. He doesn't lie, and we are called to reflect that. In Acts 5, Ananias and Sapphira were not judged because they didn't give enough. They were judged because they lied about what they gave. They wanted the appearance of sacrifice without actual honesty. Their lack of integrity cost them their lives. They thought they were deceiving people, but they were actually dishonoring God. Now, on the flip side, look at Joseph. Even when lied on and falsely accused, he maintained his integrity. He didn't cut corners. He didn't even try to get even. He stayed faithful and upright, and in due time, God elevated him. So your gift might open doors, but your integrity is what keeps them open. Here's the encouragement. If something comes up and you can't keep your word, say something. If a delay happens, communicate. Don't leave people wondering. Don't assume it's not a big deal. Don't say they'll be fine and vanish until it's convenient. Handle people the way you would want to be handled. In business and relationships, okay? We are representatives of the kingdom. How we treat others, how we treat each other, how we treat people, how you treat that person on the street matters, okay? Respect matters. Communication matters. Integrity matters. You don't have to be perfect, but you do need to be honest. And that honesty paired with humility and consistency is what God will honor. So let's do better. If this is resonating with you, let's be intentional and let's remember our integrity speaks for us long after our words. Okay? Be blessed.